you a fool's gold. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today's project is I'm going to be repairing the bottom of my boat from the last trip. You know, I showed you that it had a crack in the bottom and the transition between the metal and where the jet ski is actually molded in, but I figured out why it actually cracked. Well, you know, partially why it cracked, because I ran over something. But the reason that it didn't hold up, I'm going to show you. So y'all come check this out. You see that right there? That's foam. So what they did is, you know, you need this little ramp here. There's like a transition between the bottom of the boat and where the flat part goes to the jet pump. So what this does, this bump here helps turbulent water flatten out all the bubbles, go away before it gets to the pump. So you need a hump before the pump, and then that helps the water go up into it a lot more smoothly, less turbulent water. But anyway, they put this foam here and underneath the fiberglass, and the foam, of course, whenever you hit anything, it flexes really bad. So whenever I hit something, it split it out. So I gotta go pick up some Bondo glass to fill and remake this shape, and then I'm gonna re-fiberglass it out. But let's go get that picked up, get it back, start prepping on this, and get it filled back in and prepared. All right, I just went to the store. I picked up the Bondo glass. This has some fibers in it to strengthen it. That's what we're gonna need to replace the foam. This earlier, I had picked up some fiberglass mat and the fiberglass cloth. So the cloth is good for like tensile strength, and this is good for like ripping. I don't know what the technical term is for that, but you pair them together and it makes it really strong. Got me some sanding disc to prep the surface. Got some brushes to wet down the mat and cloth. Here's my resin. So that's everything that I got to do this project. Now let's get started. Oh, but before we get started, notice I put long sleeves on and I've got a mask. Do not start sanding or doing anything like that without having proper protection for your lungs, because this stuff is really nasty if you inhale it. So keep that in mind if you do anything with fiberglass. All right, I guess it's time to start ripping this stuff out and get it prepped. Concussion. out so far. About to start peppering it with the sander. Pretty much am giving everybody lung cancer in the future, but this project will be done. Alright, we'll let that dry up under there. We still have a little bit of moisture dripping. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit and then we'll move on to step 2. I came back under here with this wire wheel to do a little bit more cleaning, and it's very, very clean at this point. I know there's still a few places here and there, but I'm gonna put this project on pause. You see this drip here from the rib? It's got some water in it, I guess, from where it cracked. It filled up this rib, but I've tried and tried and tried, like sucking the water out and everything, and it just keeps dripping. So I'm gonna let it dry out, and then we'll be back. But for you guys, that'll happen just like this. And just like that, it's completely dry. All right, let's get some stuff mixed up, get her put on. The exact ratio on this is kind of vague, but it looks pretty good to me. First coat done. Hopefully you guys can see that. This stuff is kind of like, once it's starting to harden up, you kind of want to leave well enough alone. The more you mess with it, the worse it'll get. So that's first coat done, and we'll see you back whenever we go to second coat. This stuff activates so fast, but it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna continue on, let this cure, and get my spatula cleaned up, load up, and go for round 3. Still amazes me how fast this stuff cures. It hardens up pretty dang quick. I'm trying to keep everything as neat as possible. You know, I'm just slowly building up so that way I can shape it. Don't want any sharp pieces sticking out. Easier said than done, but it's looking pretty good so far. Whew, this is a messy job. Yeah, it's messy. But that transition is looking really, really good now. I know it doesn't look real great with the lighting, but it's pretty smooth for what it is. And I'll do some sanding on this and get it prepped for putting the mat on, and that'll be our next step. But all right, everybody, this is day 2. Kind of let this cure. I did a little bit of sanding and some cleaning up. Got it relatively smooth for the I'm gonna add one more coat to this of the Bondo glass. I'm gonna let it cure, and then I'm gonna come back over with the fiberglass resin, chop strand, and mat. So looks pretty good. Let's see if I can give you a good view of it. See, this is just to give you a nice transition from the boat to the jet ski hull. So that is like concrete. So I'm sure that'll hold up better than that foam. All right, let's get this last coat put on, get it as smooth as possible, let it cure, sand it out, and go to the next step. That looks pretty daggum good. Of course, I have to do some sanding after this cures, but that's built out to the level that I want it. And I've got a pretty smooth transition. stuff is not easy to work with. Cures pretty quickly, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job for my first time messing with this stuff. Alright, let's let this cure. Alright, so this is why I do YouTube, so you can learn from my mistakes. So basically what was happening there, because I'm fiberglassing to the bottom of the boat, gravity is just taking over and it's winning the battle. I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to cut another piece of mat, and I'm going to try to get at least one piece of mat on there. I'm going to cut the same piece, and I'm going to stick it up there dry, and then I'm going to saturate it on the bottom of the boat with the brush. See if that works out. I don't know. If not, then this is going to have to be good for now until I can get the boat lifted up upside down where I won't be battling gravity the whole time. So let's get this mixed deck up and see if round 2 is any better. Alright, so I've got some resin that is on here right now, and it's tacky. So I'm hoping that whenever I stick this to it, it will just stick itself there while I get the resin mixed up, so that way I can come back in and saturate it. So let's see if that works out. So far that looks pretty good. Let's get some resin mixed up and try to get this saturated and actually hold there. Don't know if that's gonna work out, but let's hope that it does. trying to work all the air bubbles out of it right now. So far this is working a lot better. Don't want to speak too soon. This is a extremely messy job. There's nothing about this pretty. I'm getting this stuff all over me. Trying not to completely ruin my clothes. Still trying to work all the air bubbles out. You can see them pretty clearly. They're little white marks in the resin or in the cloth. Work the air bubbles out and you'll have a nice strong bond. Pretty happy with that. That looks fantastic. All right, everybody, I'm gonna call that good for now. It looks fantastic. I'm gonna let that cure. I'm thinking that it's gonna be strong enough just because the Bondo glass, it is so strong. I feel like just that outer layer is really just for beauty, not strength. I don't know, we'll see how it goes and how it holds up, you know, putting it through the test. But I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll catch you on the next one.